So welcome friends. Now in this video we will learn how to create a AI chatbot using OpenAI and other AI providers. So in this particular video we will focus on OpenAI, which provides its services. You must have already heard upon ChatGPT, which is also built by OpenAI. So similar to ChatGPT, OpenAI also provides other services where there is not a front end, but you can use their services to build your apps, build your AI apps. So there is no front end, but yeah, you can use those services to build or embed their services in your code to train your apps. So one of the services which they provide is embedding generation. So it is a very important service. We will talk about what is embedding and how is it useful in creating a chatbot. But yeah, one of the important services which OpenAI provides is embedding. Okay, so whenever you want to create an OpenAI, the first requirement, the most important thing that is required is data. Okay, without data there cannot be any AI. Okay, so you need to have data. Data is the backbone on which AI is built. So without data there cannot be any AI. So you can scrape the data from any system, but when you scrape the data you need to consider the legality, because it is someone else's data that you are using to create your own AI. So you can run into trouble because you are fetching their data without their permission. Okay, so you need to also think about the ownership of the data. Who owns the data which you are using to build your AI? Okay, so you need to have these considerations, and then after that you have to store this data locally in your local storage. Okay, you can fetch the data from any local storage as well. For example, you can fetch it from database, you can fetch it from any file or any Excel file also you can use, where you have structured data. Otherwise, if not, then you can also use any storage, block storage, bucket storage, where data is present. So you can use any kind of data. So once you have the data, then you have to write the data. So you have to write code to fetch this data, to get this data. You have to write code to get the data, and once you get the data, then you have to store the data. Okay, so for storing the data there can be many storages used, but the preferred one is Elasticsearch. Why do we prefer Elasticsearch? We prefer Elasticsearch because it gives you a feature of vector search. So we will learn later what is vector search, how is it useful in creating a AI chatbot. For Elasticsearch version 8.5.1 greater than 8.5.1, it provides you the feature of embedding vectors and vector search. So for higher than this is a suitable storage option. Okay, then after that you have written code to get the data, you have saved the data. Now you have to generate embeddings on this data. Okay, so for generating embeddings we have to generate embedding for this data. So for generating embedding we will use OpenAI services. Now what is embedding? Now embedding is a vector form representation of the data. In fact, not just a vector, a dense vector. Why do I say a dense vector? For example, in maths you used to learn x, y, and z axis. So these used to be three axes in a three-dimensional space: x, y, and z axis. So this is three axis. You can create a 3D image using 3 axis. But when we say a dense vector, so it is a 3 dimensional, 3D image is a 3 dimensional. Similarly, a dense vector is, having 1560 dimensions. So it represents your data in a vector space where the dimension of the space is 1560. So it is represented in this much dimensional space your data is represented. Okay, so this is the amount of complexity, or how uniquely your data is represented, because it is represented in a dimensional space of 1560 dimensions. Okay, now you have to pass this data to OpenAI, and OpenAI will generate the embeddings for you. Okay, and it will generate the embeddings and it will give you the embedding vector, and then you need to store this vector as well in your Elasticsearch. Okay, first you store the product data. Now for each product you have to store its embedding as well in Elasticsearch, and this complete circle is for one product, so you have to do it for all the products. Okay, so this is for one record, you have to do it for all the records. Now suppose you have 2 million records. Okay, so this is a huge number. If you continue to generate embedding and store them one by one, it will take a lot of time. Okay, so one by one is a very slow process. What you can do is you can leverage multiprocessor capabilities here, and you can introduce some parallelism in generating embedding. So you can run parallel threads, and you can send multiple products at a time. For example, you use 10 threads, so you can send 10 products at a time, and you will receive 10 responses for these 10 requests parallelly, and you will receive the embeddings for all these products from OpenAI for all the different products that you have sent. Okay, all the different records that you have sent, so you will receive parallelly. Okay, so how many parallel threads can you run? How many parallel requests can you send at a time? This is an important point to be considered. Okay, how much parallelism can you introduce in your system? Okay, so there is a one thumb rule for this, and the thumb rule is you can run n plus 1 threads at a time. Okay, what is n? N is the number of processors in the machine where you are running. In your computer, you can say, if you are using your computer, then your computer. If on the server, then number of processors in the server. Okay, so it is a number of process, and you can create n plus 1 threads at a time. This is a thumb rule for a parallelism, for a safe parallelism. You can do more extreme cases as well, but the safer option is to use a fixed thread pool of n plus 1 and execute n plus 1 request at a time. Because if you execute lot of requests, if you introduce lot of more parallelism, not n plus 1, n into 10 or n into 50, you might succeed, but OpenAI has placed rate limiting for each calling application. Okay, so because it has to serve lot of applications deployed all over the world, it is not like it is waiting to serve you only. So it has some rate limiting per application, per client. So you need to make sure that you remain within the rate limiting threshold, otherwise your request will fail. Okay, so your calls per second should be less than the rate limit which OpenAI has set. You can check the rate limit on their website, but yeah, your calls per second should be less than the calls that OpenAI has set the limit. Okay, now third point is you need to create a REST endpoint. You can call it search. It will take a query parameter. The query will be the text input which the user will send to run the AI chat. Okay, so the query will be the text input, and this will be, a rest get endpoint. Okay, get is more suitable here because you are not changing anything, we are just getting. That is why we have chosen get. Okay, so the example of this request is, suppose I say a yellow t-shirt for my daughter. Okay, so I have said a yellow t-shirt for my daughter. Now what will happen is, suppose, and for all this you need to write code in step number 2, as I said. So now in step number 3, what will happen is you have to generate embedding for this query as well. Okay, again, for generating embedding, you have to, for this query you have to call OpenAI. So you will have to call OpenAI to generate embedding for this query which is sent by the user. Again, you will get a dense vector embedding for this query, and then using this dense vector query you need to run a KNN search, which is K nearest neighbor. It is a machine learning algorithm. So you need to run a KNN search on all the product embeddings which you had generated earlier and you had saved in your Elasticsearch. So for all the embeddings you need to run a KNN search using the dense vector embedding that you have generated for your input query which user has sent, for which he wants to search the products. So suppose you have lot of products, all of them have embedding. So this will run a search and it will match your query. For example, in maths we use strategies sine theta and cos theta. So suppose for example angle between two vectors is 90 degree, then sine theta will be 1. Okay, similarly if angle between two vectors is 0, in that case what will happen is cos theta will be 1. So if two vectors in this 1560 dimension space, if they are matching, then they will be parallel. If, or we can say, if two vectors are parallel, they are pretty much matching, their embeddings are pretty much matching. So underlying in this, so it means that if there is some angle between two products, the products are not matching. But if the angle is 0 between the query and the product embedding, then cos theta will be 1. So basically it also can also use a dot product to match the vectors, and whenever there is 0 angle between vectors, it means that it is a good match. So it is learning a vector search, and using this it will return you the when you run the KNN search on Elasticsearch, you will get the products where the angle is very less, and which means that those products are pretty similar to your query. Okay, so using that you are running on Elasticsearch, and Elasticsearch provides API for running this KNN search. So whether you are using Python or you are using Java, Elasticsearch provides API for both of them. So you can run a KNN search, and on your embeddings based on your input query embedding, and it will give you the most matching results, and it will also give you a score. So suppose it will give you the top product will be 0.93, 0.92, 0.91, 0.89. So out of 1, if you get 0.93, it means it is 93% matching. It is a good match. So the cos theta between your query embedding and the product embedding is very less, the angle is very less, they are matching very much. So no, that means it's a good scenario. Now you need to think about expenditure as well. When you generate embeddings for these 2 million products, you spend tokens. Okay, and you have to purchase these tokens, and for every product embedding, depending on the size of the product data, the tokens will get consumed. Okay, so you have to purchase the tokens in your account. If the tokens are empty, your request will fail. So you have to continuously purchase the tokens whenever you are using them. Similarly, for the search query also, when you are generating embeddings, again it will also consume tokens. So you need to make sure that tokens are present in your account, otherwise your request will fail. Okay, so you have to take into consideration the tokens as well. Okay, so this is the expenditure part, or expenditure aspect of running a AI based search. So you have to take care of the expenditure as well. So there's, and the cost of the token depends upon which model you choose. For example, there is a ADA text search model. I'm not exactly sure of the name, but yeah, something like this. So this model is very suitable for running vector searches and embedding searches. So you can check the price of token for this model on OpenAI's website. So every model has different token price, and whenever you generate embeddings, you need to pay the price for generating embeddings and for generating embeddings of query as well. Okay, and then an important part is to refresh your data. For example, you fetched the data 1 month ago, now product color has changed, or product inventory has changed, product price has changed, or product description has changed, product title has changed. So if you continue to run the search on old embedding generated from old data, they might not be most accurate. So what you need to do, you have to refetch the data, you have to again save it in Elasticsearch, and then you have to regenerate embeddings periodically, time to time. So you have to regenerate embeddings. Again, you need to spend tokens so that your search is always relevant. Okay, if you are sure that the product data is never changing, then there is no need to do this. But yeah, if you think that the product data might change, so you have to fetch it again, and then you need to regenerate the embeddings. Okay, so you have to refetch the data and you have to regenerate the embeddings. So friends, this is the overview of the how you can implement the AI chat search using OpenAI. If you want me to build an implementation video with code and working example, I will do that if I get 500 likes on this video. If so, please show your love, please show support. If you give me the required likes, I will surely build a video on implementation. I was away some time from YouTube because I was recording a course on Java. So if you want to learn Java using my course, I will add the link of the course in the description. You can purchase my course, and please let me know in the comment section if you purchase my course. Please give your name and your email ID um, that you are using to purchase the course. Otherwise, if you don't give any, if you purchase, I will not get the benefit for that. So I need to you know inform the host, the guys for whom I have created this course, that this is my referral, and then only I will get this benefit. So please guys, show your support. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel.